90, television's automotive magazine, with your host, John Davis.
Well, hello and welcome again to Motor Week 90. We're glad to have you with us. Giving credit where credit is due is not an easy thing for a lot of automotive critics, especially when the credit goes to the slow-moving behemoth General Motors. Case in point is the latest Oldsmobile Trofeo. Trofeo is a European-style trim, tire, and suspension package for the Toronado personal luxury coupe. It was added 2 years ago in hopes of bolstering rapidly falling Toronado sales. But that Trofeo would only be a temporary fix. The new name didn't cure the Toronado's truncated styling and overall mediocre driving experience. GM management knew that only a major overhaul would save the Toronado line. And that's where the 1990 Oldsmobile Trofeo becomes very creditable. Size, in case you haven't noticed, is creditable in cars once again. The Trofeo is more than a foot longer than last year, although the wheelbase remains at 108 inches. And with that extra length, stylists had the freedom to pen long, flowing lines, ones that conclude rather than just end. Gone is that chopped off at the rear look that plagued the last Trofeo and much of the rest of GM's cars in the 80s. The result is a celebration of the full figure. It's the Sears Tower, it's Marilyn Monroe, it's Donald Trump, or at least his ego. It's voluptuous to some, too much of a good thing to others. But the car does have its own identity. This $24,995 Oldsmobile Trofeo is the American luxury coupe reborn. The interior has also benefited from the rebirth. Door trim has a rich texture. There's more front leg and hip room. The Trofeo shares all dimensions with the Toronado, which has brighter trim and fewer standard features. The steering wheel radio controls from last year's car are gone, replaced by a standard driver's airbag. Large analog gauges are also standard, and the layout is excellent. A digital cluster is now only available on the Toronado when equipped with a front bench seat. Trofeo seats are upholstered in leather. They're adjustable every which way and manage to be supportive as well as cushy in big car tradition. An adjustable steering wheel also aids in finding a comfortable driving position. Cruise control, wipers, and signals are stock-mounted, but the Trofeo also has an abundance of dash buttons. The one for the lights, despite its size, demands a carefully placed finger. Our Trofeo test car was equipped with Oldsmobile's Visual Information Center. It's a touch-sensitive CRT screen used to control the stereo. The compact disc is optional, by the way, and the climate control. There are easier-to-operate buttons on the left for often-used functions. This $1,300 option also works a trip computer, a compass, and additional engine gauges. For another $995, you can also order a hands-free cellular telephone that works through the CRT. But if these TV controls bother you, as they do some of our staff members, it's good to know the Trofeo is available without them. As for transmission, there's only one available, GM's 4-speed overdrive automatic. The shifter is now conventional in shape. Last year's stirrup design was put out to pasture, but the clever combination coin and cup holder was retained. The rear seat, too, is quite usable, though the extended bodywork has not given any extra legroom. But the added length was put to good use here. The trunk is now larger by about 1.5 cubic feet. Luggage slides deep along the flat floor. The small item luggage net is thoughtful, too. Our only complaint is the very high liftover, one concession for the car's stylish line. Like so many front-drive GM cars, the Trofeo gets the 3800 V6 engine. With port fuel injection, it makes 165 horsepower and 210 pound-feet of torque. Unlike the engine in some European and Japanese competitors, this one won't awe you with long-legged smoothness. But it does have a pleasant, throaty exhaust. Plus, it makes power where American car enthusiasts seem to want power most, at low RPM. Even so, the engine in our test car pulled strongly to about 4,800 RPM and consistently turned 0 to 60 times of 9.1 seconds. And it took our Trofeo 17 seconds to reach the end of the quarter mile, at which point it had reached 81 miles per hour. By our judgment, that's adequate acceleration, but we can think of a half-dozen cars in the Trofeo's class that are faster. But the Trofeo has something not all of them have, anti-lock brakes. They stopped our car using only 122 feet on average from 60 miles per hour. That's a good number, but we would have appreciated less nosedive and a pedal that didn't feel quite so mushy. But mushy is not a word we would use to describe the Trofeo's handling. The suspension is all independent. Oldsmobile has done an impressive job of combining traditional American luxury car virtues with the controlled feel we've come to appreciate in European and Japanese luxury cars. Diving into our slalom course, we encountered much less body roll and wheel-numbing nose plow than we expected. The only thing the driver has a hard time controlling is staying in the seat. Steering gives plenty of feedback, but it still has that need to center itself feel that we've noticed in most larger GM cars. The Trofeo soaks up bumps as an American luxury car should. But the best part is what happens after the bump. Rebound is controlled. There's little bounciness. Interior sound is low, too, measuring only 66 decibels at 60. And here's a pleasant surprise. Despite its bulk, the Olds Trofeo is EPA rated at 18 city, 27 highway. We recorded 23 in typical driving. In our safety check, the Trofeo passes with driver's side airbag, rear shoulder belts, and anti-lock brakes. It fails to have a front passenger airbag. Hits include excellent ride quality, melded with good road holding and handling. We like the comfortable, roomy interior, full-bodied styling, and commendable fuel economy. We aren't impressed with the Trofeo's acceleration. We wish Oldsmobile would rethink the placement or operation of some interior controls and accessories, and we'd like a firmer brake pedal. Oldsmobile says the Trofeo is a car designed for buyers who may be looking at imports like the Acura Legend Coupe and BMW 325. Well, we don't find that a very credible claim. After all, where the Trofeo has European influence where it counts in ride and handling, its size, fullness of line, and wealth of comfort features make it distinctly American. But this time, being distinctly American is good. To GM's credit, their other claims about the Oldsmobile Trofeo are on the mark. As for numerous other GM car lines, we can only hope that the closing of the Trofeo's credibility gap proves quickly contagious.